As a teacher, one of the most difficult parts of my job, especially in teaching English all over the world, is to learn the students' names. A lot of the names that I come across in Korea and in other areas of the world that I've been teaching in are not common English names, and so therefore it becomes really difficult for me to retain that information. What I do, if I can possibly help memorizing the names, is I will repeat the names to myself over and over again and try to find ways of personalizing the person's name so that way it sticks more in my head. Since studies show that if you personalize information, think of past experiences or find some sort of mnemonic device to get the name more tangible and relevant and personable and personal in your life, then you're more likely to memorize that name. Of course, this might not always be possible if you're teaching in a class of 25 to 30 students, so there are many other strategies you can use to tackle this problem that frequently arises in classes. Sometimes teachers will, if they have given up completely on memorizing names, they'll fold a piece of paper into 3 parts and make like a little triangle of those papers, and they'll have the students write their names in big letters on those papers and then have those students place those papers in the front of their desk, so that way when they're being taught, the teacher can refer to them by name by looking at those name tags. Another option is to actually buy name tags, but depending on where you are in the world, you may not have those. So you have to think of other creative ways of managing your problem with memorizing names. Another way that teachers have used that is particularly effective is to write English names on a piece of paper or a printout, generate them on the board, and to have students decide which names are their favorite names. And then they get to essentially name themselves the English names, and that makes it even more it makes it easier to memorize the names of your students if they're using English names. Of course, a lot of teachers also have objections to this strategy because it's a form of imperialism and you're taking over their culture or something. But actually, if the students are young enough and they are just kind of carefree, they won't really care if they're given English names. In fact, they'll be mostly curious about them and see which one fits them like a glove or a shoe. I think they'll really enjoy it and be taken with it. But again, this is a technique that's not for everybody, so it may not be for you. Anyway, these are just some of the techniques that people have used, and let me just stress again that it is important for you to memorize the names of your students because it personalizes your relationship with them. It makes you closer to them. It builds trust. It builds camaraderie. And it makes the students feel like they can approach you and ask you questions about whatever it is that they're learning. So never underestimate the power of being able to memorize names. Also, it's good for managing behavior in class. So if there are disruptive students in your class, you can call them out by name, and that usually gets them to stop immediately. And this works especially for English classes when there is a language barrier. So as long as you have a very forceful tone and you're saying the student's name, they will listen to you. So anyway, these are just some strategies for memorizing names. And if you have any questions about these or other strategies that I've brought up in the past, please do contact me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next episode. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.